Okay, so now going on to part 2, we're at the last 2 examples are just finding coterminal angles. So we remember coterminal angles are angles with the same initial and terminal side, and so I want you to find one positive and one negative coterminal angle in radians for these given angles in radians. Our general rule for radians is, so if we have the same initial and terminal side, that just means that we went around the circle one more time in either the positive or negative direction. So our general rule is theta plus 2n pi, where n represents any integer, positive or negative. And so that's just telling us to continue to go around the circle. So I want you to pause the video, come up with a positive and negative coterminal angle for each one of these, and unpause when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so here for negative 2 pi thirds, the first thing I did was I recognized, okay, 2 pi is 6 pi thirds when I'm dealing in terms of thirds. So I added 6 pi thirds and I get 4 pi thirds, and I subtracted 6 pi thirds and I get negative 8 pi thirds. I can continue to add and subtract 6 pi thirds to get other coterminal angles. I'm trying to make this as easy on myself as possible, so these were the simplest positive and negative coterminal angles to find. Over here, 2 pi 15ths, 2 pi is 30 pi 15ths. So again, I add 30 pi 15ths to 2 pi 15ths, and I get 32 pi 15ths. And I subtract 30 pi 15ths from 2 pi 15ths, and I get negative 28 pi 15ths. Pi 6, so I want to recognize, well, 2 pi is 12 pi 6. Add 12 pi 6, and I get 13 pi 6. Subtract 12 pi 6, and I get negative 11 pi 6. Negative 9 pi fourths. Here 2 pi is 8 pi fourths. So if I add 8 pi fourths to negative 9 pi fourths, I still get a negative coterminal angle, which is negative pi fourths. So I have to add 8 pi fourths again to negative pi fourths to get 7 pi fourths as a positive coterminal angle. If I wanted to get a different negative coterminal angle, if I subtract negative 9 pi fourths minus 8 pi fourths, I get negative 17 pi fourths. So again, I'm just trying to show that there are many correct answers, but the question wanted us to have one positive and one negative, so we need to make sure that our answer has one positive and one negative. Here with 2.5, this is not in terms of pi, therefore I'm just going to write it as 2.5 plus 2 pi and 2.5 minus 2 pi. The only thing I have to be careful about is making sure that 2.5 is less than 2 pi, because if it's not, then when I subtract 2 pi, I'm still going to get a positive angle. With negative 1.5, same thing here. I'm just going to do negative 1.5 plus 2 pi and negative 1.5 minus 2 pi. I don't need to type those into my calculator because it doesn't really help me in this case. Again, it's just trying to get an understanding, or to make sure we understand the idea of coterminal angles. Okay, now I want you to do the same thing for these 2 angles, but we're in degrees, so I want to keep our answers in degrees. So we want to determine 2 coterminal angles, one positive and one negative, for the given angles in degrees. So our general rule with degrees is going to be theta plus n times 360, where again n represents just a positive or negative, or I'm sorry, n represents any integer, so it can be positive or negative. So I want you to find one positive and one negative coterminal angle for each of these. Pause the video, unpause it when you're ready to check it. Alright, so here for 45 degrees, I found 405 degrees and negative 315 degrees. So this is my positive coterminal angle, this is my negative coterminal angle. Again, there are many correct answers. I can keep adding or subtracting 360 to keep finding coterminal angles. And then here, I did not ask you to do this, but this is just to show you. I drew a picture showing the relationship between all of these angles. So here's the 45 degrees, here's the 405 degrees, and here's negative 315 degrees. With negative 420 degrees, first I added 360 and I got negative 60. Then I added 360 again and I got 300 degrees. Remember, whenever you're writing degrees, also make sure that you put the degree symbol there or write degrees out. So that we don't think that it's radians. With radians, you do not have to write radians. It's assumed that it's radians unless it's specified that it's degrees. Again, here I just try to show you a relationship graphically. So negative 420 degrees is the black angle, positive 300 degrees is the purple angle, and negative 60 degrees is the blue angle, and we can see they are all coterminal angles because they all have the same initial and terminal side. Alright, so just in review then, we want to make sure we understand what is the initial side, what is the terminal side, what is the vertex of an angle, what is an angle in standard position versus not standard position, how we find positive angles versus negative angles, and then what are coterminal angles. Again, the idea of coterminal angles is going to be very important throughout the entire trig unit, so we really want to make sure we understand that and how to find them.